married is a major life event that most individuals will embark upon at some point in their lifetime. But once the wedding's planned, the guests arrive and depart, you've said your I do, chances are one partner in the marriage will undergo a legal name change. I'm one of those stories, and I'm here to share my journey and what I've learned along the way. While this story won't apply to many, there's a select subgroup, newly married women, I hope to guide through the process, as it can be quite daunting. Of course, if you're not in the aforementioned subgroup, you're welcome to enjoy this short piece, but I'm only one individual able to reflect upon my own name change journey. My hope is that after you view this short video, you'll walk away with a few ideas and insights on the name change process. 1. Deciding if a name change is the right decision for you. 2. The process to follow when legally changing your name. And 3. How to best communicate and announce your new name. After our New Year's Eve meeting, we went on a series of awkward first dates like most couples do, and both came to the realization of, hey, this could be my lobster. I say lobster because they are one of the few, if only, creatures in the animal kingdom to have the same mating partner for life. Tangent aside, we dated for a few years, moved in with one another, shacked as my mom would say, got engaged, the national average is 15 months, and we were about that. In October of 2014, we were one of the average 2.4 million weddings to take place each year in the United States. With the wedding planning in the rearview mirror, it was time to switch gears and legally focus on changing my name. While 8% of American women opt to keep their maiden name after marriage, it meant more to me to take on my husband's last. In the spirit of dry humor, which I picked up from my better half, this comic strip adds a bit of that. Focusing on the last frame, there's still a chance I'll become famous. Legally changing your name isn't a decision you should do hastily. You have to determine if it's the right choice for you. Chances are, or I hope you are, taking a little bit of time to decide if you'll legally be changing your names. Here are a few options you can go down. 1. You can keep your given name. If you go down this route, no action is needed with your government friends. But, if you plan to have children one day, what would their name be? Would you be okay if it was different than your husband's? 2. Take on your spouse's last name. 3. You can take on your spouse's last name, but keep your maiden name professionally. This is the approach I took. I interfaced with so many clients and feared it would lead to confusion and complications. I left it as is. That being said, if I had to start a new career, I would drop my maiden name entirely in my professional career. 4. You can make your given surname, your middle name, and take on your spouse's last name. And the last option, you can create a new last name together with your husband. All the options are great, but just make sure it's the right choice for you, because once your name changed, it's complicated to change it back. If you're considering options 2 through 5, legally change your name, you'll require a few trips down to your local government. So as I mentioned, I chose option 2. Ultimately, I kept my first and middle given names, dropped my maiden last name, and entirely took on my husband's last name. So here's what you've been waiting for. What's the process? What's the best way to do it without a giant headache? My journey started on Christmas Eve, when I knew heading to the government offices would suck the cheer out of anybody's day and if they would be empty. First things first, you cannot make any legal changes until you have a legal marriage certificate. The process varies from state to state, but in Minnesota, it's a one-page document with a raised seal layered with an official clerk's stamp. Many institutions will need this official document, so do yourself a favor and order a few. I have 3 legal copies on file in addition to a few unofficial copies. I know it sounds crazy, but you'll need them, and it's better to be over-prepared than under. With your marriage license in hand, your first step will be the Social Security Administration. It's here that you will update your name attached to your Social Security number. Make sure you check the documents twice, as most of your personal information is tied to this one number. Most days, the office is a zoo, but since I went on Christmas Eve, I was in and out in 15 minutes. So moral of the story, pick your timing wisely and avoid going over your lunch break when everyone else is heading too. After your papers are filed, you're off to your next stop. Next stop, the DMV, to update your license or government-issued ID. This is important because once you file your name change, you will not have a photo ID to reflect your new name, which you will need for subsequent name change stops. So what to bring? You will need a current photo ID and your official marriage certificate indicating your new name. So at this point, I'd already been in the Social Security Administration and the DMV. The last major step was our bank. Beforehand, we determined our financial plan, which consisted of one central bank account. So the trip was not only establishing a new joint account, but legally changing my name with the institution. So here are my tips. Before you head to the bank and really during your premarital counseling, sit down with your partner and have a candid conversation about your finances. Once you have your plan, head to the bank as a couple. Name change documentation too, as they will only change your name in person. Once you have your name switched, don't forget to order a new debit, credit, and checks to match. Why? Because once you've updated your ID, nothing will match. So there you have it. You've decided that a name change is the right decision for you. And those are the first 3 critical steps to get the process in motion. Believe me, after those first few changes, I was a bit exhausted, but little did I know, it was just beginning. So here's where I'm at with my name change journey. 5 months in, and I'm heading into the future. Here's an overview of each of the places you'll have to update your information. Your job, the post office, your credit card companies, social media outlets, the passport administration, utility companies, professional associations, memberships or clubs, your mortgage company. If you're buying a property in the middle of a name change process, make sure you complete an AKA form. It will help immensely. Insurance providers and policies, medical providers, voters registration, legal documents such as wills, trusts, contracts, etc. What I've learned along the way is that a name change isn't going to happen overnight. Make it your goal to update a few accounts each week. Whenever you do, make sure you send or bring along a copy of your marriage certificate process. Don't forget to celebrate the next chapter, which is married life.